A couple hundred years ago, the only thing you had to worry about was a hangover.
You telling me you're an investigator?
More or less.
Today, because of your curse thingy, you can't sleep with anyone.
We're not a team. I'm your boss.
Or else you might feel a moment of true happiness,
You got a real addiction to the brooding part of life.
lose your soul,
Except for the bulk of it, where I was nearly tortured to death.
become evil again,
You're a demon hunter.
Road demon hunt.
and kill everyone.
It's fucking fantastic.
I love that sound.
Thanks, Cornelia. I always appreciate your perspective.
Hey, it's warm, but it didn't explode.
Oh, man, that's so good.
Yeehaw!
Welcome to AwA with Angel. I'm Rex.
I'm Josh.
Today we are reviewing Season 2, Episode 21, Through the Looking Glass.
Oh boy, all their references to classic literary shit and Wizard of Oz.
Literary dimensional travel.
Yeah, boy, it sure is titillating.
Because if you think about it, those stories are about dimensional travel.
Take a look at my tits. They are itillated. If they could talk, that's what they would say.
Is that the noise?
That's the noise.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so every time you've heard that noise in the other room and wondered what was going on.
This explains so much.
I know, right? All right, Rex, you ready to fuck this pig?
No, I don't want to fuck any pigs.
All right, well, I figured we needed a different farm animal. We've fucked so many chickens. I'm sorry, doodle-doos. Speaking of doodle-doos and fucking them, here's a list of our executive doodle-doos, a.k.a. Patreon supporters. They are as follows. Eventually, I'll find them. Bridget McCloy, Dead Serious, Ali Bonarigo, Nathan Lancy, Kristen, Rachel Gregory, Rachel Doodle-Doo, D. Sheringhausen, Clubby Seal, Sandra Craig, Jay Sommer, Christina, Catherine Parkinson, Karen Moon, Chris V-Man, Pat Likes Turtles, Scarlett Choi, bad at changing their names heaps, K-Fro Horse Dildo with a BWB logo gnome, Father Defenestrado, Methuen Dipper, Kelly MC, Jesse Rain, Alex from the Heart, and Carrie Phillips. How does that make you feel, everybody?
Thank you so much. Without you, this show literally isn't possible.
That is correct. The show must go not sued.
To be fair, though, you can actually sing that because it counts as a cover.
I'm not sure that that's how that works. I've actually heard otherwise recently.
Really?
And it scares me a little bit. In fact, a lot of content creators have been having trouble legally with using shit that they shouldn't be using. So maybe they shouldn't be using shit that they shouldn't be using. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass. I don't have any specific examples of anything. But that's what I heard, and boy, howdy, I believed it.
I do know that the way TikTok and YouTube handle copyright has made copyright law a fucking mess.
Not surprised at all. What isn't a mess right now, Rex?
Ginger beer.
Yeah, ginger beer is pretty good. Well, hey, speaking of doodle-doos, you know what the next best thing, in fact, possibly even a better thing that you can do to help us out is review us on iTunes.
Or Audible.
Or any, whatever platform you listen to us on. If you actually write a review, we will automatically enter you into a contest to win a free hoodie. As soon as we get to 75, we totally forgot about Audible. Definitely email us and let us know if you review us somewhere that's not iTunes, because we don't actively check anything but iTunes.
Yeah, we constantly forget to check reviews.
But Rex is going to read one for you, I'm going to read one for you, and then we're going to move on.
Okay, one of our Audible reviews titled, These Guys Should Get All the Snickers. 5-star review. It's put down as anonymous user, but I happen to know that it was Dead Serious that reviewed us.
You cheeky monkey.
Because he emailed us to get a sticker.
So much for being anonymous.
And remember, if you review us and you send us a screenshot of your review, we will send you a sticker.
Even if you're in Australia, we're going to try.
Yeah.
We really tried really hard to send somebody a t-shirt in the UK one time before we had UK distribution, and it did not go well.
No, it was a huge pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But that was a
never got-
whole nother company that we were using for our merch, and now hopefully this review sticker that I'm sending will test the system, so to speak.
Yeah, can't guarantee it won't get held up in customs, though, but we're going to try.
Yeah, so anyway, the review follows. I've searched the internet for Buffy podcasts, and I finally found the right one for me. Rex and Josh come to the show from new angles and bring their own funny flair to every episode. They don't always get it right, and I sometimes find myself wanting to open up their plot holes, hard air quotes there, crawl inside and close the door behind me. But their running gags and easy chemistry keep me coming back. I'd recommend the show for anybody looking for a fresh analysis on the Buffyverse who needs a laugh on the way home from work. But let's be honest, that's everybody in this capitalistic hellscape. I love the show, and you'll love the show, and we'll all hate Josh's mum together. P.S. I really want my sticker, Rex. Hopefully you can send it to Australia. And I'll try. I will try to send you a sticker.
Hot shit toboggans, Rex. You know what they did?
What'd they do?
They opened up our plot holes. They stepped inside. And they closed the door behind them.
Yeah. And I think there were some stickers wrapped.
Like a whole fucking 12-pack.
I love the fact, though, that he actually took a reference that we've used and a reference that you have created and meshed them together into something new and gooey.
I also love hearing a reference to a joke that I used to make that I completely forgot about. 100%. Totally forgot that was my favorite running gag for 2 seasons. And I 100% forgot that I ever said that. So thank you. I think this is the second time I've been reminded of that. And I also the other time said I'm going to start saying that again. So we'll see if it actually sticks this time.
We'll see.
Yeah. Like a Snickers bar to a mesh garment of some sort. Probably with Velcro on it.
Oh my god. That's just gross imagery.
Yeah, that's me. So we get another one on Audible from the UK section, which we're fairly certain never got read on the air. But if we did, then you're getting it read twice, so you're welcome. It's from Hold the Door on 5/2/22. It's titled Brilliant and Lighthearted. It's a 5-star review. They said, I started listening to this while I was waiting for a new Audible credit, but now it's all I listen to. It's like listening to your buddies. It reminds me of the conversations me and my housemate used to have about Buffy, and weirdly, he laughed like Rex. These guys are lots of fun and good podcasters. They structure it well, have good recaps, step-by-step analysis, and a good wrap-up, and call out any toxic asshat behaviors. Parentheses, toxic asshat is now my new favorite word. Hooray! I said hooray. That was not them.
Yes.
I love the chemistry these guys have and the wonderful fuckwittery, which is a fun new word that Rex and I just learned.
Yes.
Tell us what it means, Rex.
It is the actions of a fuckwit.
Yeah. So that basically means that at least I'm a fuckwit, if not both of us.
I mean,
and I guess I need to be okay with that. This is me on my path of grief, going through the 7 steps.
A sign of growing and maturing is to accept your flaws.
Yeah, exactly. This is me maturing. I'm a fuckwit. So anyway, Josh and Rex, thanks for keeping me company while decorating and keeping me entertained during menial tasks. I always put you guys on my speaker and listen to you around the house. I absolutely love that these guys are always referencing some of my favorite things as well, like Ace Ventura, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and loads more. The guys are also active on their social media groups and interactive with fans, which is nice. Keep up the good work. Reeves be with you. Rachel, London, UK.
Reeves be with you as well. Whoa.
Keanu Speed.
Keanu fucking Speed.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of interacting with our fans, we have a long-neglected voicemail that we wanted to get around to. A large part of the reason we didn't do it earlier is because it was about an episode we hadn't gotten to yet.
Yep, it was about the last episode we did, and
Weight of the World. It was very short, and just the very first part of your voicemail, Callista, is who our voicemail is from. But you said something about church PTSD, and boy howdy, I don't think there's anything that Rex and I can relate with more than church PTSD.
Yeah.
Or at least religion PTSD.
I think me a little bit more so because my family is very, very religious.
Well, it's not a pissing contest, Rex, but...
You never got carted off to fucking Bible camp, my friend.
Yes, I did.
You did?
Multiple times.
How have we not talked about that?
Oh my God, everybody, we always have conversations like this. We've known each other, 11 years now?
More than that,
And
I
we
think
keep-
we're up to 12.
Keep learning new things that make our childhood sound more and more similar.
It's creepy.
It's really creepy.
Your mom nowadays, though, doesn't seem all that religious to me, not compared to...
Oh, absolutely
mine.
not nearly as much as she used to be.
But yeah, we both have plenty of religious trauma.
I still have a very religious grandmother who is trying desperately to save my soul.
Yeah.
And, I had a few terrible experiences in high school. Well, I guess I wouldn't call it terrible so much as I was watching a televangelist on TV. I don't know why.
Who knows?
Other than, young impressionable kid, streaming wasn't a thing yet. Obviously, I'm old. Anyway, and there was this fucking kid, even when I was 10 years old or however old I was, this person looked like a kid to me. So they couldn't have been more than 20 tops. And they were just going around the audience, asking them a question, only letting them get 3 words into it. And then they would just pull the mic back and say, "You are going to hell." And for some reason, it really hit me hard. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to hell." And that's obviously what they want.
Yes.
And I went to my bedroom and I bawled my fucking eyes out about it. And I came out an atheist.
See, I didn't come to that realization. It was between 7th and 8th grade. I held on to that agnostic banner for a bit up till tail end of high school.
I gave up on, I didn't really ever give up on agnosticism. I just started using the term atheist because it stops conversations quicker. And I don't want to talk about it all the fucking time.
It does.
And there's a lot of people I just don't want to talk about it with.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there's
lots
still,
more voicemail.
Yeah, there's still lots of voicemail from Callista.
The next big point I made notes on was you were talking about some demons are just softies because we were talking about how Spike actually stopped to console Tara because she felt so bad about singeing him by opening up the blinds. Your question was, are some demons just softies?
And I think we actually did talk about... We
absolutely covered this fairly concisely.
Yeah. I think our conclusion was mainly since vampires tend to bring out the inner person, since Spike, before he was turned, was a real big softie, it kind of makes him seem a bit more soft around the edges as a vampire as well.
Yeah. Short answer, yes.
Yes.
They are occasionally just big softies. I mean, yeah, Spike is so soft.
Right. I mean, compared to other vampires,
right.
I mean, hell, you even compare him to Angelus, and Spike is way more of a softie than Angelus.
Well, and as far as we know, he's an isolated incident. We've never witnessed the behavior of a vampire who's had a chip in them to change their behavior based on harming humans. And he's been shoved into this situation. I almost want to say he's got Stockholm Syndrome bad, except they're not actually his captors. However, they're the only people he can actually interact with anymore.
Right.
Demons think he's a useless wuss because he can't fight and kill people.
Right.
And so he fights demons.
And the demons don't like him because he fights the demons because he needs to get the bloodlust out somewhere.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's so much that he's a softie so much as he has been forced into this situation where it's the only way he can get any amount of social interaction.
Yeah, that's not a bad theory. And I mean, there is some psychological data that kind of backs that up. The whole idea that you put a mask on for so long, it stops being a mask.
Yeah. And on top of that, though, he is really good at playing sides, and he knows what's good for him. And being useful to the Scooby Gang is good for him.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for his safety.
I mean, that's what's kept him alive to this point.
Exactly. And also having them like him to the point where they don't want him dead not only gives him a sense of belonging that he doesn't have with Angel or Drusilla or what's her name? Angel's old girlfriend, Darla.
Yeah. Darla?
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 Darla!
Darla?
Darla! That's correct. So yeah, it gives him a sense of belonging. I mean, just because he's a sociopath or a psychopath doesn't mean he doesn't need that.
Right.
And I think you're right, though. It really does feel like he's starting to actually enjoy being with these people for the right reasons, even if he got there in a really fucked up way.
Yeah.
There was also, you wanted to know specifically that thing that I mentioned a while back about how strong Buffy is. There's definitely some super nerd, a fucking nerd out there on the internet, calculated based on things that Buffy has been observed doing, almost exactly how strong she is and what she's capable of doing based on evidence. And I remember exactly what you're talking about, but I cannot for the life of me remember where to find that information. I would have to sift through so much backlog of texts and emails, and I actually tried to do a search on my email, and it didn't come up with anything. But I think if you jump on Reddit and do some searching, you might find it there. I want to say it was a Reddit post.
Seems like it.
So start there. And
I'm gonna dig into it as well. I keep meaning to, and completely forgetting.
it might bug me too, and I might dig into that. So hang in there. The information is out there.
I mostly just want to compare her strength to Spider-Man.
Fantastic.
Could she kick Spider-Man's ass?
And if that thread doesn't exist, you can get so many upvotes on Reddit for that.
Yeah.
My God. So yeah, you were talking a lot about episode 21 and how you want to help that little kid and how it really speaks to her connection with Willow. And yes, I completely agree. And can recognize that this speaks deeply to your core, and you've been through some shit.
Yeah. You know, you mention the representation of the psychological state that she is in, and I don't remember if we actually talked about that at the time during the episode.
I think we were too busy making fun of it being, oh, this just turned into that episode.
Right.
A lot of the time.
And there was definitely a bit of that, but you know, after listening to the voicemail again and everything, it does, you know, I do like how the visions in that dream state are represented. Mm-hmm. They're inconsistent, they're not chronological, and they kind of jump back and forth, which is very realistic to how, you know, a dreamscape works. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that. And I think the biggest thing with that whole scene that really hit with me is it in some ways did humanize Buffy. Because she's the Slayer, sure, but she's still a person, and none of her superpowers have anything to do with the psychological aspects of being who she is.
That's true.
And I do have to agree with Callista that it's a good representation of like the weight of the world on a person's shoulders like this. Like that is an immense amount of pressure, and she's just a young woman.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about it a lot while I was editing, and I realized I was kind of probably a little too dismissive of where they went with this episode in terms of exploring Buffy and how, this isn't the action-packed romp through the park that I wanted it to be. But you know, that's not necessarily Buffy is supposed to be a empowering feminist piece, and that includes talking about mental health and not just skimping over it and letting it go right over everybody's heads and do that same fucking toxic masculinity thing that says, well, men don't cry and so women can't either when they're strong. So no, this was absolutely where it needed to go. And thank you for helping remind me of that.
And you know, you closed your last voicemail off with thanking us for the good we do, to put it in your words, and I actually want to say that I greatly appreciate that appreciation because
Ditto.
This is a hobby for us. We aren't really getting money for doing this. Like, we have the Patreon, we have the merch and everything, but there's not so much coming in that like we're really making any money for our time on this.
Yeah, we're not paying our rent with it.
And we've both been going through some times. You've been super busy, and my mental health has been a goddamn wreck. And
thank you for paying attention. You said
Yeah.
It sounds like we've got some good stuff going on and some bad stuff. And yeah, that's absolutely what's going on for both of us.
To all our fans that actually listen to this show, it's been a long 4 years that we've been doing this.
It's going on 5.
Yeah.
Coming real close to 5.
And there's not many things in my life that I've actually been able to stick to that long with the way my ADHD is, and the fans of this show, fans that I never really expected to actually have when we started doing this, makes it amazing.
Yeah, podcasting is not nearly as easy as it sounds.
No.
That's why there's a million failed podcasts out there, or podcasts that pod faded,
Yeah.
if you will. And it's that kind of feedback that helps us keep going. So thank you.
Yeah. So, like I said, thank you for your thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for calling in, Callista. Well, I think...
I think that it's time for a mom synopsis.
Joshua! What are you doing, Joshua? The Dance of Joy. What the fuck does it look like, Mom? What the hell do you have to be happy about, Joshua? Because I never have to live in your house, in your dimension, ever again. Whee! Well, maybe you should be doing the Dance of Dishonor. Yeah? Well, maybe you should go out into the hills where the ground is thorny and parched, beat your breast, and curse the loins that gave birth to such a cretinous boy child. I already do that each morning before I feed, Joshua. Oh, well, then, bye. Oh, by the way, you should get your cow checked out. He looks sick. Oh, you mean the slayer of the Draken demon, Angel? You named your cow? And he's a better warrior than you? Shit, I guess when you put it that way. I can't say I'm surprised, Joshua. Well, it's a funny story, Mom. You see, because today on Angel, Cordelia saves the A-Team from certain death by pardoning them. Angel and Lauren fuck off to find some clues about interdimensional hotspots while Cordy, Gunn, and Wes hang back to do some light research, in which they discover a trionic book series about the prophecy of the Cursed One, whom the Trombley have dubbed Cordelia. They figure out she's supposed to boink something called the Gursalugs, so they try to escape. Wes and Gunn make it out through the sewers, but Cordy gets held back, where she meets the Gursalug, and doesn't get to boink him after she gets a little too comfy making proclamations and pardoning Lauren again. Meanwhile, Angel saves Fred from a beheading, and Lauren's family celebrates him as a valiant warrior. Angel, not Lauren. They escape, and Angel has to convince Fred that she hasn't gone crazy and is in fact a math expert and a librarian from LA, and she can get back home. His demon side gets out of control, and Angel has a bit of a meltdown after protecting Fred from 2 knights on horses that found them. Perhaps he'll stay there forever now. Gunn and Wesley get captured by the cows of the woods and are in a short line to be beheaded and displayed on pikes. Oh, and the priests totally cut off Lauren's head and served it to Cordy on a platter. The end.
Ladies, gentlemen, spiny-headed looking creatures. Soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Competition is a beautiful thing.
Foods here.
You know, it's actually been a little bit since you actually caught me off guard with the synopsis.
Excellent.
Yeah, that I was not expecting the Dance of Joy right out of the gate.
Well, what else is there to talk about this episode? For fuck's sake. We could do a whole episode just about the Dance of Joy.
I have even more fun information on that.
And then a
when we get
bonus
there.
episode on the Dance of Honor. I think I might know exactly what you're talking about.
Probably. Anyway,
But we'll wait till we get there.
we start the episode off where we left the last one, which is in the throne room, where Cordy is just so happy to see the gang that she just wants them to grovel.
Yeah.
Little bit of milking for some adoration there.
Yeah, get down on your knees and tell me you love me. And they're all just flabbergasted and doing their best impersonations of what they think it is to be incredulous as unconvincingly as possible. And doing a pretty good job of it, if you ask me. Because I don't believe their incredulity at all.
Yeah.
It's all very corny, and I feel their thoughts of, God, how did I get myself into this, as they're playing the roles.
In a little bit.
Or at least I'm getting paid. So Cordelia's playing the I'm gonna fuck around with not helping my friends game, and she's all, yeah, I could help you. And then fucking Narwek, this fucking guy.
I'm so glad that he's in this episode as little as he is.
As little as possible, absolutely. Shall we gut the cows now that you might dine on their ignoble flesh, O Most High? You're Most High if you think that's going to happen. Besides, shouldn't there be some extended groveling first, as you mentioned, aforementioned? And then she almost gets them fucking beheaded.
Yeah, she's like, off with their heads. Just kidding. It's like, what if they didn't listen to your just kidding?
What if they didn't know the idiom just kidding?
Right?
There's no universal translator here. You just got fucking lucky that they speak English.
Yeah.
The bigger question, how do they know the idiom just kidding?
Yeah. Because that, like, yeah, I can't honestly think of any way that they would be able to figure that out.
Yeah, Darmak and Jalad when the walls fell.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. It's like, how do you... kidding? What? Imagine that being directly translated. I guess that actually might translate well. Be like, they're childing? Or what do you mean they're being childing?
It depends. Well, do they have goats? Because the term kid originates with goats.
Right, but I imagine the universal translator operates partially on intentions of the word as well as literal. I don't.
Who knows?
Never mind. So, regardless of if they know the idiom kidding, also her timing sucked.
Right.
And she's so lucky that they hesitated.
Yeah.
They're like, we've got the blades at the throat. We just need you to confirm. That's not how that fucking works.
Right. The moment she said off with their heads, one of them could have just been like,
yeah, I'm surprised one of them wasn't just like,
oh, look,
Shing!
there goes your jugular.
Yeah, no.
You weren't using it.
They wanted to kill them so bad. Like, you're just being irresponsible, Cordelia.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Opening credits.
It's fine. What could possibly go wrong?
So, yeah, after the opening credits, we're back in the throne room. Cordy kicks everyone except for the Scooby Gang out.
With her important voice.
Yes, with her important voice. They're, very happy to see her.
And now
but not. They actually just want food.
She's legitimately happy to see them now.
Yes.
And then she gets her comeuppance because they're like, yay, food!
Which
And
they have been, like, in a cell for a bit.
yeah. They had like a whole fucking day-long adventure last episode. I'm sure they didn't eat during any of it. However, my question is there any nutritional value at all to a candle?
Candle?
Because I could not fucking tell what Gunn was eating. It looked like a candle.
I did not notice.
I was like, is it raw corn on the cob? I can't tell. It did not look like fruit of anything that I'm familiar with. Anyway.
Maybe it wasn't actually real food that they had on set, and he didn't realize that it wasn't real food.
Yeah, they had to eat wax food. And
I could totally see that happening.
just to fill up the basket, they put candles in there. It's like, wax is wax, right? I don't see what's the problem. Anyway, Cordy does a crap job of explaining how she got where she is to Wesley.
God, they don't do very much explaining very well at all in this episode.
Right?
But yeah, Lauren actually guesses what has happened.
He figures it out immediately.
And he knows the culture and the prophecy and all that.
And he knows Cordelia.
Yeah.
So, of course, it makes perfect sense that he would figure it out immediately.
Yeah, he guesses that she had a vision and that they decided that she's cursed, and there's a whole prophecy about, the cursed one.
and she's the Messiah. Therefore, they made her the princess. I don't know why they didn't use the term queen.
Yeah, that actually bothered me.
Other than the fact that she's clearly not actually in control of anything. They're just kind of letting her play at it for a minute.
But yeah, it's specifically a prophecy with the covenant of Trombley.
Oh, Trombley is the name of the covenant of the priest.
Yes.
Ah, I thought. Okay, I got that confused with the race of Lauren's demons.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what their race name is, though.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out.
I just know that they're of the Deathwalk clan.
Right? Whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah,
the demons from Pylea.
Yeah. But they start to discuss the portal situation. They mention that they used the book just like Cordy did, and they don't have the book. There's been a whole problem there. And, she's about to say more, but then she's distracted by Angel's distraction by his pretty face.
Mm-hmm.
And his poofy hair. I actually really loved this little bit here.
He's so obsessed with his accidentally amazing hairdo to pay any goddamn attention. Wesley explains it away. Not the hair, but just him being able to see himself. Yes, the metaphysical laws which govern our world don't seem to apply here.
Which, it makes total sense to me. But I just liked the bit here when he's like confused at what he's seeing in the mirror and his hair, and Cordy's just like, oh no, it's always been like that. That's just how it is. And Angel's response is something along the lines of, and nobody's told me?
And if for no other reason other than to shut him up, she's like, you look good. Like she so begrudgingly gives him a compliment.
She knows he's a handsome boy.
Oh, yeah.
She knows it.
I think she just, she doesn't want him to be too confident.
Yeah.
We especially don't want him to be too happy.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's a problem. Especially in this dimension, apparently. Which we'll get to.
Yes.
But yeah, Wes recommends that Angel go out with Lauren to find Landokmar. And I'm like, God damn it, I knew we weren't done with this fucker. But I'll take him over Narwek any day.
God, yes.
I thought Cordy's line was funny where she says, in kind of a hurry to get back to the Cordelia is not a princess dimension, aren't you?
She makes that point many times through this episode.
Well, yes, of course they're in a hurry, Cordelia. You're the princess. And they're not.
Yeah.
I'd be in a hurry, too.
I did like how...
I'm in danger.
I did like how Lauren starts to be like, oh, no, we don't need to go talk to my family. And Wesley just very gracefully is like, well, you don't want to be stuck here, do you, Lauren? You wouldn't want to be stuck here. You either talk to your family or we're stuck here. And Lauren's like, well, I definitely don't want that.
Deal with that, fucker. Move the plot forward.
Yes.
Why don't you? I dare you. So cut to some dingy-ass fucking hole somewhere in Pylea.
Yes.
Barshone and Silas argue about the blasphemy of worshipping a cow.
Yeah.
They're
not
very
happy about this.
There's a very racist joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Not going to go there. But it's okay. Silas has Cordelia's back. At least until after the comm shock, if she survives it.
Yeah.
Then they can do whatever they want with her.
Good old comm shock.
Good old Silas.
Yeah.
Yeah, protecting Cordelia for selfish purposes very temporarily.
Yeah.
I don't want to share my feelings. I don't want to open up. I want to find the guy that killed Tina, and I want to look him in the eye. Then what? Then I'm going to share my feelings.
Cut to back on the old dusty trail.
Yeah. The homestead, if as it were.
Yes. Well, okay, yeah. Just getting off of the old dusty trail.
Yeah.
And arriving at the homestead, which is kind of on a dusty trail.
Yeah.
It's basically just a dusty trail with a shack on it.
Yeah.
And a bunch,
they do not live in luxury here in Pylea.
And a bunch of demons that live in it. So they find Lauren's family fairly quickly. He is recognized immediately by a burly older man of his species, or so it appears. They call from across the field, from across the distance, Crevlorn Swath, can it be true? I've often prayed that I might look upon your face again. Lorne approaches, and then they spit in Lorne's face, and I think there were some lines in between there that I cut out. You have shamed our clan and betrayed your kind. Thanks, Mom. That really got me. I was not expecting that. And they obviously just cast some burly dude.
Yeah.
Just called him Mom.
Tom something starts with an H. I can't remember what it was from the wiki.
So she's super ashamed of him, beats her breast and curses her loins every morning.
Every morning.
Every morning, just before she feeds.
Yeah.
Lorne inquires if his mom remembers anything about portals, to no avail. Nope. But you know what they do remember, Rex?
What's that?
Feasting and dancing. You know who especially remembers feasting and dancing?
Who?
Numfar.
Numfar.
And they tell Numfar to do the dance of joy.
And so he does. And I like that he in the background, Numfar's just doing his little dance of joy.
Doing his
up
thing.
until the point when his mom's like, no longer do the dance of joy, Numfar. And then he just abruptly stops.
Yes, I enjoyed it up until the point where I read that Numfar is played by none other than
Joss Whedon.
he who must not be named.
Yeah.
Didn't look like him at all.
No, I mean, you know,
I could not tell. He must have been very young there.
He is. He is pretty young, and he was pretty far away, and, you know, covered in makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy the dance, though.
He just looked a lot thinner than I
Yeah.
am used to seeing him. I must have only seen pictures of him when he's older.
Yeah.
And I assumed he was that old when he was doing Buffy.
Right.
The show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I actually really liked the dance that Numfar was doing. It was goofy as all hell.
It was so fucking ridiculous. I couldn't quite handle it. I was like, this is pushing it. Even for even for this ridiculous shit. I guess at least it gave me a sense of, okay, the show knows what it is.
Yeah. It hasn't quite forgotten what it is. It's just struggling with that identity a little bit.
Right. That the fucking creator himself had to jump in there. Because I was thinking before I knew that it was him, I was like, man, where'd they find this fucknut?
I wonder if he did it because they couldn't find anyone who wanted to do it.
Right? I was like, man, that takes some staggering confidence because that is clearly improvised.
Yeah,
That was not choreographed dancing.
exactly.
So anyway, Lorne's mom tells them to fuck off, but Landokmar recognizes Angel and proclaims him a great warrior and slayer of the Draken. So they immediately wrap him in warrior's garb, and Landok tells him that he's going to come to the village feast, and Lorne is powerless to stop it. And Angel, while at first seemed resistant to the idea, is warming up to it rather quickly.
They show him a mirror of himself wearing the cloak robes thing that they gave him.
And a necklace.
He just likes it.
Yeah. He's like, hey, that's a good look on me.
And, you know, it makes perfect sense to me that he thinks it looks good.
Because he hasn't seen himself in a mirror for 250 years.
Yeah, A, that, and B, he hasn't, like, when he last saw himself in a mirror, it was in Ireland.
Oh, right.
And, like, you know, when something like this, like being swathed in fur like this, would have been very luxurious and, you know, the thing to have.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I like my logic too.
So Numfar continues to dance stupidly in the background.
Yes, the dance of honor this time, though, which is not very different.
It's not much different.
No.
Pretty sure the bunny hop was in there.
I did want to do kind of an honorable mention. I thought it was not so much quote of the day worthy, but the idea when Lorne mentions to Angel, you know how I said that there's no music here? Yeah, I wish it was the same for dancing.
Yeah.
And if that is representation of all dancing in Pylea, I very much agree with him.
And it makes me wonder how that's a very chicken and the egg situation. How do you get dancing without music?
Yeah, I don't...
It's weird. Anyway, cut back to the castle.
The castle?
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it will work?
It would take a miracle. Miracle Max.
Yes.
He's only mostly dead. Except Billy Crystal is very much alive.
Yes.
I don't know about the woman that played his wife. Except I think they're both about as old as their characters were supposed to be.
Yeah.
In that movie now.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, they're both still alive. I'm pretty sure about that.
Good.
And I have not watched that movie in a while. I should rewatch it.
Definitely due for a rewatch. So we're at the castle. Wesley finds some books and figures out that 3 of them are trionic.
Trionic. I looked it up, and this is not a thing.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's a real fucking word or a real thing.
One of the reasons why I was running a bit behind in my show notes was that I spent way too long clearing whether or not this is an actual thing. There are a couple instances of the word trionic being like brand names of things, but as far as I can tell, it is not a thing and has never been a thing up until it was mentioned that this was the case.
Huh.
So yeah.
Well, that's funny. Yeah, that's good because I would never want to read a trionic book series.
Yeah, that would be fucking awful.
For anybody who hasn't recently watched the episode and doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about, he's got 3 books, and instead of them being volume 1, 2, and 3, you have to read all 3 of them at the same time, and you have to take cues from context to know when to move to the next book.
Yeah.
God, that would be a nightmare.
Can we just say that Wesley's ability with languages is impressive?
A little too impressive.
A little too impressive, but like I kind of like the idea that he's just that good.
Yeah, we got to give the man credit where credit's due.
Because like he's able to pick up that the language is similar to some old demon languages that he knows, but the fact that he knows it just well enough to be able to figure out that it's trionic is super fucking impressive. And let's not even talk about the fact that he happens to be in the right place in all 3 books to be able to figure that out.
Right.
Like, what if the books aren't exactly the same number of pages?
The motherfucker knows his syntax.
Yeah.
Gotta give him that.
It is impressive.
So he also notices a picture of a heart on the cover of one of the books.
Yes.
And Cordelia correctly corrects him that it is, in fact, a Bambi. Also acceptable terms are thump thump or snort snort.
Yes.
Furthermore, he figures out that Cordelia's going to have to calm shock a Gruselog.
Yeah.
Quote of the day here, Cordy says, "What does that mean?" Wesley says, "I have no idea." Gunn says, "Sounds dirty if you ask me." Cordy says, "Nobody did."
But should have.
Right? Yeah.
He's accurate.
Gunn is my spirit animal on this day, in this moment. And then her and Gunn bicker briefly about making the priest translate the book for them, or rather the logistics thereof.
Yep.
And Wesley does all the heavy lifting and figures out that the books each have pictures on the covers, one a wolf, one a ram, and the other a thump thump.
A heart, if you will.
And I might. Wolf, ram, heart. Gerba thump thump.
Gerba thump thump.
What's the other one? Dog and sheep snort snort.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about this revelation.
I love it. It's pretty much the only thing pulling me back in. I'm like, yes, Wolfram and Hart. They've
I'm
got
not
their.
sure.
Well, we already know that it's run by interdimensional beings. It makes perfect sense that they would be fucking up other dimensions.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it makes me wonder if they have any origins in this dimension, or if they've just been fucking with it the way they have Earth.
Okay, yeah. I did not think about those implications, and that would be nice to explore.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it really got my head back in the game just a little bit.
Well, good.
So yeah, maybe they shouldn't be trusting the priests. I mean, was anybody trusting them, really?
Right, like...
Their voices sound like they're talking on a fucking payphone through a voice disguiser app.
Right.
And they've all got face tattoos.
Actually, they kind of all look like Darth Maul.
Yeah. You know you can't trust people with face tattoos. Ever. 100%.
I disagree with that.
I knew you would. I also disagree with that, which is why I said it that way.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
You're not real. Or I'm not real. Somebody here isn't real, and I suspect it's you. So if you're not real, then that means that my head came off back there, and that I'm dead now. Dead.
We go from the dun-dun-dun to Angel telling stories and Lauren just having none of it. And they I don't know what he's drinking, though, because apparently they don't have alcohol here.
Oh, yeah. Or if they do, they don't know it because they can't get drunk.
Right. But he had mentioned before that one of the reasons he didn't want to go to Pylea was they don't have alcohol. So,
you know, I don't
know
think
what he's drinking.
Anybody would drink alcohol because it tastes like shit. And if it doesn't get you drunk.
Well, you know the reason why it became a thing, right?
Yeah, because otherwise you would get dysentery from drinking water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you can make wine without it being so alcoholic that you get drunk off of it, so you can drink it all day. It's kind of a misnomer that they make it look like in like Game of Thrones or whatever, or Blackadder,
Right.
any kind of medieval anything, that they were all drunk all the time because they were drinking wine and beer. It's like, no, they just had really low ABV shit.
Yeah. There's also there's a myth around Egyptians and slaves, and this is very wishy-washy data anyway, but it does correlate to some other information of things in that time with laborers and whatnot. They would give them essentially, liquid bread that's alcoholic. And the idea is, if you have laborers, you give them that at the end of the day, it gives them all these nutrients and calories and knocks them the fuck out.
So they gave them Guinness.
Yes.
Excellent. Sounds like a good deal to me.
So like in Pylea, they just have brutality and they eat humans. So,
Yes.
maybe they don't feel the need to get people drunk.
Still trying to figure out where they got their human population, but maybe they'll cover that someday, somehow.
Yeah, maybe.
They're probably, they come through the portals. Duh. Oh, I see. All right. It's a land of the lost. It really is land of the lost.
Yeah.
Huh. And I thought I was just making a shitty reference at first. So, yeah, Angel's enjoying being seen as a hero. Lauren's annoyed as fuck and just wants to go. And then Landokmar asks Angel to swing the Krebel.
Yep. Perform the Bacchanal. Swing the Krebel.
And he's like, ooh, that sounds fun. And Lauren doesn't quite register what that is until Angel's already fucked off to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, the Krebel. Uh-oh.
And Lauren chases after, trying to be like, hey, you shouldn't want to do that.
Fair warning. How do you feel about slaughtering innocents? Cut back to the castle.
Yep. Back into the throne room, Wesley and Cordy are having a bit of a spat about the situation.
I want to stay and be a pretty, pretty princess. Did you ever play that game?
No.
My little cousins made me play Pretty, Pretty Princess when I was little.
No, I didn't really have any female cousins that I got to see very often.
Ah.
I have a couple female cousins that were our age, but they lived states away.
I never said they were female, Rex. They made me feel like a girl. No, one of them was female. And the other one was like 4 years younger than her. So he was pretty impressionable. I was the weirdo. And I'm like 12 years old playing Pretty, Pretty Princess.
What do you mean, were? Why are you going all past tense with the weirdo bit?
Oh, I see what you did there. Explain it to me later. It'll sound like I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Perfect. Glad we had this chat. So, asides. The priest center and Wesley and Gunn trick them, hard air quotes, into revealing that the Kamshak is a mating ritual and that she will be doing it with the Grusolog, which is, something they had to summon from the scum pits of Ur.
Yeah. Sounds like a not pleasant place.
The scum pits?
Yeah.
I've been there. It wasn't that bad.
Really?
No.
Sounds smelly.
So as soon as she hears about that and correctly presumes that it is probably smelly, she tries to leave.
Yeah.
But she does it in the dumbest way possible. And she does it very obviously and directly through the priests that are standing in her way. And therefore, they're not dumb and they don't let her.
You ever notice how certain writers of this show believe that Cordy is an idiot and then other writers decide that she's not?
Yeah, it's almost like they have misogynists on the writing team.
Yeah. You can definitely tell when the wrong people are writing her character.
Yeah. Well,
Because
I think you can tell that the wrong people are writing this entire storyline.
yeah.
Ever since they started thinking about going to Pylea.
Hey guys, how do we write 3 episodes where we keep a character in a sequence bra?
I don't know. I'm tired. Hey, fucknut over here hasn't written any. Why don't we make him do it? That's how they wrote this.
They even make a few jokes later about that, and it just
About what?
the outfit.
Oh, right? Yeah. The priests end up leaving her alone in the throne room, and now she's all about getting the fuck out of there. No more pretty princess for her. Back to the village.
Yeah, where we discover Bacchanal is an execution, specifically of Fred, and the Kreble is an axe.
Uh-huh. Well, goddamn it, they're hungry, and we got cows to kill. Let's start with Fred.
Sure.
Yeah. Man, I
know.
didn't think you were going to be so easily swayed on that.
I mean, honestly, I think Fred's a poor choice.
right?
She's been starving in the hills for quite a while. She's quite thin.
No fucking meat on her bones. But, maybe they assume that killing her will free up more food for them because she's been stealing all their food. Obviously, look how fucking engorged she is. Jesus. And she burns off all the calories running back and forth to steal food.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, obviously, the moment Angel realizes what's going on, he refuses to swing the Kreble.
yeah, he can't kill a cow because he thinks it's people.
Right?
What a fucking
He
tool.
thinks it's people.
What an asshole. Lauren's mom and Landok yell various annoying Ren Fair sounding things at Angel about not killing the cow. Angel pulls Fred up and tries to back away slowly until, of course, the mob attacks.
Yeah. And the day is saved by Lorne and his
other superpower.
Yeah, his stellar vocals.
Oh, yeah. Singing, of course. What else would he use to fight with?
He sings Stop in the Name of Love.
Yeah. So now we know why they don't have music in that dimension.
Yeah, it hurts him.
It's worse than nails on a chalkboard to them. And apparently it burns?
Right?
Huh. As Lauren sings Stop in the Name of Love and gets to the think it over part, they time it perfectly so that he gets hit in the stomach as he's saying, think it whoa, shit. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Nomination and quote of the day right there.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the whole singing part, I'm sorry, I thought it was fucking ludicrously dumb.
A little bit.
But so was the dancing. And again, the show knows what it is.
Right.
And at least they're demonstrating that for a change.
I kind of like the idea that they are portraying Lauren's home so ridiculously.
Uh-huh.
Because to me, it kind of reflects the whole humor to deal with trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, to me, an overt metaphor for that. Just because, when you've had a lot of trauma, you have to find the humor in it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it will eat you alive. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the reflection I feel from how they're portraying Lauren's family. Is we find the humor in it, but it would actually be fucking terrible to live there. Especially if, imagine before Lauren came to Earth and didn't know anything about Earth and didn't know music and, felt that outcast.
Yeah. Yeah, being that much of a forward thinker amongst that crowd.
Yeah.
That would have been a personal hell.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cut to the castle sewer hatch.
Yes, Castle Sewer Hatch, where Cordy is complaining about how she's always got demons that want to bang her.
Yeah. I just want you to find me a dimension where some demons don't want to impregnate me with its spawn. Is that too much to ask? What is it about me anyway? Do I put out some kind of come shuck me vibe? Great play on words there.
Yeah.
Because it's the com shock or the com shock. I don't know.
It's COM-8 SHUK.
And it being a made up word, that's not super clever that they did a play on their own word, but
Right.
it's kind of funny.
Given
the premise, it's funny.
It gives me vibes of the shit. I'm brain farting on the term. What's the term for Vulcans when they go in heat?
Ponfar.
Ponfar. It gives Ponfar vibes for the name.
Yeah. Comshuck Ponfar. Definitely. It sounds like it's the other side of the same coin, really.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so she's like, do I put out some kind of come shuck me vibe? I mean, you'd tell me, right? I'm kind of like, I don't think they would, Cordy.
Not necessarily.
Because you kind of...
They're also not demons, so maybe they don't smell what the demons smell.
That's part of it.
Maybe she has a pheromone about her.
Right? I think she very much does put out a come shuck me vibe.
Yeah.
Not so much that she wants it, so much as she's female.
Kind of a damsel in distress vibe sort of thing.
And when you dress like that, podcast over. I'm going home. It's all reflective. It's like she wanted me to come shuck her. God. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
I'm torn on whether to be sorry about that. Everyone.
Yeah. I think you'll come to that decision when you go to edit.
Yeah.
We get to kind of a quote of the day in my eyes. As they're getting ready to go into the sewer, Cordy doesn't want to go in the sewer, for sewer reasons.
It's a literal river of shit.
Yes.
You don't need too many reasons.
Yeah. And it's got a flow to it. They briefly show it. And it's moving.
That is a massive river. Like, think Ghostbusters 2.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Cordy says, why can't we use the front door? Gunn says, you really think you'd be able to get your booty out the front door? Hey! It's like, well, she's literally carrying a basket of fucking stolen goods.
He looks at her, cocks his head, points as that booty. And honestly, he chose those words specifically.
Oh, absolutely.
He just really wanted to, get a zinger in there.
Yeah, no, your front booty, not your back booty. Okay, not your front booty either. Ain't nobody talking about your vagina.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, she's holding this basket of fucking jewel-encrusted jewelry and precious metal potpourri.
Yeah.
But yeah, puns.
Well, and she expresses that she just wanted some mementos of her time, ruling.
Sure.
And also, think about how much fucking money that shit is probably worth.
Yeah, especially if it's some kind of metal that they don't even recognize.
Yeah.
Or it could be all completely worthless. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, plunder. Get it? Booty?
They find out that it's pinchback and not gold.
Sure. I don't know what that is.
Pinchback is an alloy of zinc and copper and looks a lot like gold.
Is it fool's gold?
No, it is not fool's gold. It is gold-like plating they used to use back in Elizabethan times to fake gold. And it's pretty close. But it's fairly inexpensive and not worth much.
Well, I learned something new every day.
I was hoping for some demon fighting tonight, but I wound up with a delivery job instead. If I come back here on the end of a spatula, I'm expecting some serious workman's comp. I'm just messing with y'all.
Anyway, Cordy might rather fuck the Grusolog than swim through a river of shit. I personally can't quite fault her for that.
Well, she's very hesitantly trying to get into the sewer, and she obviously hasn't worked herself up to it yet. And just as she's almost there,
well, I mean, it's not just any shit; it's alien demon shit.
Yeah.
Imagine the kind of staph infection you could get from that.
Oh God.
Yeah. I know, right? And then she's totally not dressed for that.
Right.
I mean, how do you dress for going through a river of
right.
shit? If not a full rubber suit and face mask.
At least probably wearing some sort of shoes. And not in fucking heels like she is.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe, just maybe, something resembling pants.
And maybe just leave behind the basket.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like she, with that skirt, she had no leg mobility.
Right.
How are you supposed to do that?
Anyway, before she even gets to climb down into the sewer to join Wes and Gunn, the priest walks up and stops her. And he's like, oh, man, we really need to talk to the servants. They're leaving freaking trap doors open all over the place.
Directly to the sewer. You know what I thought they were going to do? Because she was basically sitting over the hole to the sewer. I thought they were going to turn around and be like, I'm sorry, we've interrupted you while relieving yourself, princess.
Yeah, they could have gone with
and
that
then
joke.
she was going to be like, oh, yeah, I was definitely pooping. So they find her. She doesn't act like she's taking a dump.
Right.
Which would have been a good play, honestly.
Yes.
There's half a chance that they wouldn't have cared.
Right. They'd have probably been like, well, that's what a cow's going to do.
Right? Cow's going to poop. You need help with that, cow? You need somebody to make strong eye contact with you while you're pooping? I know personally I prefer strong eye contact.
Oh, my God.
And for somebody to rub my tummy.
I am sorry. I would not be able to function in a society that was the norm.
So you couldn't be a cat. Got it.
No, definitely not.
And the priests inform her that the Gruselag is approaching.
Ah, yes, the Gruselag.
Cut to outside.
Cut to outside where Wes and Gunn are emerging from the sewer like Andy Dufresne.
Similarly, except they don't look like they swam through a river of shit.
No.
But whatever. They emerge outside and they realize Cordy didn't make it. Oh, well, better find Angel.
Fun fact, that Morgan Freeman's line at the end of Shawshank Redemption when he says that Andrew Dufresne swam through a river of shit and came out
clean smelling like a rose.
Yeah, like that's one of my absolute favorite lines from that movie.
Oh, it kept going through my head the whole episode from that point on.
Man, I wish we could just be like, hey, Morgan Freeman, do you want to join our podcast?
Yeah, he'll get right on that. I've already asked him. He's on his way. I promise. So they don't look like they swam through a river of shit at all. And they go to find Angel.
Yes.
Cut to Angel.
Him and Fred are on a horse. They come to a stop, and Angel's kind of giving her the rundown of a plan of what they can do, and she just says, bye, and runs off.
Handsome man who saved me. Okay, bye. Quite literally. Bye, and fucks off.
I fucking loved it. I don't know what about it struck a chord with me, but I thought it was the funniest fucking thing that she says that all dreamily and then just runs off.
Mm-hmm. And she just happens to have been a short jaunt from a cave that she lives in.
Yeah.
And she thinks she's dead and she's not real, because how could this possibly happen to her? But he figures out who she is. She's Fred.
She's Fred.
Winifred Burkle, the librarian that came up missing 5 years ago. And he freaks her out by knowing her full name and things that she thought were only a dream from a long time ago.
Yeah, and she learns that the past that she thought was a dream wasn't a dream, and she actually hasn't been here that long.
And there's, in fact, a way to go home, even though she's convinced that there isn't. And she remembers that she needs to help Cordy when Angel mentions portals.
Yes.
But he puts her mind at ease about that as well, letting her know that they made Cordelia a princess.
Which comes to a quote of the day from me.
Mine as well.
She says, really? Oh, when I got here, they didn't do that. Well, that's nice for her.
I felt so bad for her.
Oh, and just the fact that, like, you could tell the moment that Angel had said that, he's like, oh, that was not the right thing to say.
Wrong words. Oops.
I may have made a mistake.
I'm sure they'll make you a princess eventually. Now that they haven't chopped your head off,
Right.
it's bound to happen any moment now. I'm sure they'll come through that door any minute. No, it's not happening. Cut to the castle again,
Yeah.
where Cordelia nervously rambles desperate things about taking it slow, say 3 or 4 years. If they're still hitting it off, then maybe.
Can I just say that she does the nervous rambling thing really well?
She does. They definitely play to her strength on that one, at least. And then she's like, do you think it'd add an air of feminine mystery if I were to, not be here? She obviously doesn't expect any of this to work, but boy, is she nervous because she thinks she's about to have to fuck some disgusting ass demon creature thing.
Yeah.
Which is what I was expecting too.
Turns out, no. The Gruslog is a very, very handsome man.
Well, and they do this reveal, so the door opens, the Grusalog approaches, and this disgusting demon thing shuffles through the door.
Turns out he's just the bag man.
Yeah, he's just the caddy.
But no, the Grusalog is, he kind of has a Tarzan look to him.
A little bit.
Yeah. Turns out he's very pretty.
He's not a disgusting hell beast. He's just some chump named Chad.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't introduce himself as Chad. He's officially the Grusalog. But in my headcanon, he's Chad. So, oh no! She has to fuck a Chad! I wouldn't kick him out of bed. Unless his dick popped out. And then I'd be like, hey, bro, you need to put that shit back in your pants. This is bedtime, not dick
He's
time.
not really wearing pants.
You need to put that back in your pantaloons. Back in your leg coverings.
Leg coverings. There we go.
As Wesley so eloquently puts
Yes.
it in a little bit later. Cut back to Angel and Fred.
Basically, they've decided to head to the castle, but this was a bad idea because they get attacked.
Angel throws Fred to the ground to protect her from some approaching night-looking dudes. I couldn't tell if they were the Darth Maul priests or if they were Lorne-like demons.
I think they were Lorne-like demons.
Okay. He's got her down on the ground. I really thought they were going to have one of those moments where they look deep into each other's eyes as he's straddling her and give us some sexual tension, because that's just what you do when shit like this happens in TV shows and movies. But they actually kind of didn't go there.
Well,
it was just like, stay down. By the way, you're about to see some serious shit. Don't be scared.
yeah. And it's a bit more serious of shit than what Angel had in mind.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He really undersold it.
So much more not wrong than he expected. Because he tries to vamp out, and I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't going to go well.
No.
And it doesn't go well.
No, he becomes green and spiky.
He looks like Doyle almost.
Not quite.
Yeah, not quite, but it's similar.
He does it first, the first bit of shot we see of him vamping out.
Sure.
But later on when we see his face, it definitely looks less Doyle-like.
Yeah.
But in the sunlight.
He's still green and spiky, though. And Fred, of course, flips the fuck out. She's like, bad things always happen. Just after he'd gotten her convinced that good things can happen, he goes and does this. And he's got it. His mouth is fucking covered in sinew and blood.
Yeah.
And he demon grapples over there.
Not only does he maul the dude, he rips off the guy's leg.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oof, I didn't
They
even...
actually kind of showed him rip off the leg. Not very directly, but heavily implied.
Yeah, he fucks these guys up. And then he snorkels. He's you know what I mean? Snarls and skitters. He doesn't walk anymore. He's skittering. He's gone full fucking weirdo demon. And he gets all up in Fred's face. And then he's like, nah, you're not food.
And there's some flesh still stuck to his teeth.
Yeah. Remember, he's your friend.
Question. Do you think they actually had David Boreanaz in this makeup?
I absolutely do. I could tell it was him.
Oh, really?
Coming up in another scene. It was definitely his acting.
They probably did not have him during the moments when he's jumping around on all fours.
Yeah, that might not have been him. It might not have been him when he was attacking them directly. But the moment where he's looking into the pond of water later It's definitely him.
I bet the person they put in the costume to run around on all fours was the same person that they cast as that demon dog thing in the previous episode.
It's possible.
I mean, how many people are on their books to cast for, well, we need a dude who can run on all fours.
Yeah, I'm sure they keep him on the short call list.
He was also probably the same person that was in the werewolf costume back in those episodes.
That was actually Seth Green.
Not running on all fours.
Yes.
There were some scenes where the werewolves were actually like really running on all fours though.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, maybe he had a double for that. He definitely did a lot of his own werewolf full makeup bodysuit work.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I saw an interview with him where he talks about it.
Oh, makes sense.
Or I saw an interview with somebody who talked about it and confirmed that he did his own werewolf work.
I would want to.
Right?
I would want to.
Yeah, no, he was all about it. And he was young enough that he could get away with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be some souped up stunt guy just to run on all fours.
There's actually a TikToker who specifically has trained himself to be able to do it. Like he started just doing a little bit every day. Mm-hmm. And like his forearms are fucking ripped.
Neat.
Like his forearms look like calves.
I suppose they would.
And like, it makes me kind of want to do that if I didn't have severely bad knee problems.
Right? I feel like I could do it no problem because I do that shit in my dreams all the time. Which I know I brought up last episode as well. But
dude, my hands and knees would be like just destroyed.
When I think about it now, like realistically, that wouldn't go well.
I can hold a note for a long time. Actually, I can hold a note forever. But eventually, that's just noise. It's the change we're listening for. The note coming after and the one after that. That's what makes it music.
Anyway, Demon Angel fucks off. Cut back to Cordelia, where Gruselog Boy rambles on about how hideously malformed and unsuccessful he is, and how tainted his blood is, and Cordelia needs a clean-up aisle throne room. Because quote of the day here, Gruselog Boy says, "As I matured, these defects became more apparent. The Covenant soon determined there could be no mistake. There was cow's blood in my veins." Cordy says, "So? Heck, I'm all cow or human." I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but
no, the delivery made it.
She's like, "So what? I'm a cow." You watched Rocko's Modern Life, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the episode? It's the one where they fight City Hall.
Oh God, I know.
Rocko fought City Hall. Rocko fought City Hall. Anyway, he's riling the crowd, and he says something like, "What are we, wild pigs or something?" And somebody in the crowd raises their hand and says, "I'm a wild pig." And that goes through my head at least 3 times a day, every day.
Speaking of Rocko's Modern Life, that actually came up recently. Rocko specifically, because TikTok offered up a new voice filter that people can use to mask their voice when doing TikToks.
Interesting.
And it's fucking Rocko.
Weird.
I'll have to show it to you. And I've been meaning to show it to you, but I keep forgetting. It is unquestionably Rocko from Rocko's Modern Life.
It just sounds like him?
Yeah.
It's not an image.
No, it's not an image or anything. It's just a voiceover dub effect.
Huh. I look forward to hearing that. So
I'm a wild pig.
Exactly. So Cordy's like, "I'm a cow." And he keeps talking about all his imperfections, which are just making her more and more attracted to him. Finally, she's like, "Get out," in a very modern, idiosyncratic way.
Yeah.
And they all, of course, take her completely literally. And she rolls with it. And then she's like, "Wait!" The Gruselog stays. And
I do want to mention I really enjoyed this little bit where she's just rolling with her own mistake. I basically used this sort of circumstance to explain to my partner. We were talking about ways that confidence shows up for people. because socially speaking, I tend to be very confident, carry myself very confidently, and my partner struggles with that sometimes. And we were talking about how the difference between being confident and acting confident, and how what that means. And one of the ways that I feel that really works for being able to carry yourself very confidently is to learn how to roll with the constant mistakes that everyone makes in social situations.
Sure.
And this is a really good example of that kind of confidence where it's that wasn't what I meant, but you know what? I'm going to make it work for me.
But I'm the fucking princess. Yeah. So he sticks around and he tells some more of his story, ultimately revealing that his name means the brave and undefeated.
Yes.
First world problems. Well, okay. It's kind of a third world. It's really more of a fourth or fifth world, honestly.
Apparently, he wanted to suicide by combat, which didn't work out for him.
He just kept accidentally winning. He's such a failure.
Yeah.
A fucking failure. He makes me sick. So, Narwhal, the piece of stinking awful, fucking the large glass pitcher-shaped bipedal version of a river of shit himself, barges in all, oh yeah! Hey, can we murder your friend yet? We really want to murder your friend.
And Cordy is so distracted by those beautiful big dark eyes of the Gruselog that she's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Handle it. Oh, it's Lorne. Fuck off. He's pardoned. It's fine. Oh, you poor baby. She ungags him and saves his ass. For some reason, I'm less upset about it when Cordelia pardons people than I am when Trump does it. Some reason, unbeknownst, I don't know. She makes him wait in the room outside of the main hall so that she can go boink the Gruselog.
Oh, hold on. A quote from Lorne here as she takes the gag off him and everything and asks him if he's okay. Lorne replies with, "Not as good as you, obviously. Should I call them back?" Pointing to the guards. Hey-o. "Should I call them back? You could borrow the cuffs."
Yeah. He knows what's going on, and he wants a piece of that.
She does not wait one bit. She's like, "Oh, are you okay? Okay, you're okay. Bye. Get the fuck out."
It's like, wait.
I got some boinking to do.
Where's Wes and Gunn? I'm sure they're fine. Click. Cut to Wes and Gunn, who are not fine.
No, they're not fine. They're lost.
Land of the Lost. Gunn gets attacked by Angel as a demon angel. He's always been a demon, but now he's gone full demon.
Yeah.
Fred saves them by fisting a bag of blood and raising it into the air.
Wes does notice, he recognizes the tattoo on Angel's shoulder. So he does realize that it is Angel. That doesn't stop Gunn from being mauled, but I guess it does stop Gunn from killing Angel.
He had
I don't know if he
coming.
would have been able to.
Right? Yeah, probably not. Yeah, so Gunn gets a little fucked up. He's got a big old claw mark on his chest. Grr, sexy. Anyway.
Well, they make the scene with Fred and the bag of blood interesting. There's fucking, choir music and shit over it, and they really, really make it into, some sort of mystical thing happening.
Yeah.
And it's really just the smell of blood.
Yeah, she understands that predators can smell blood on the air.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So she raises her fist in the air. He smells it, and they suppose that it was his demon in its purest form because he can't find the same metaphysical balance in this dimension as on Earth, as they've gone so far out of their way to establish throughout the episode.
Did you notice Wesley packing Gunn's wounds with mud?
I think so, yes.
I looked this up.
It's a real thing?
It's a real thing.
Weird.
Apparently, there's certain types of mud that you can pack into a wound that help coagulate blood.
Huh.
And now, granted, it will also possibly give you an infection.
Mm-hmm.
But if the bleeding out will kill you faster, it's a possible option to help stop the blood.
Yeah, you can deal with the infection later.
Yeah.
Now, the real question is, was it really that type of mud? What are the odds?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It has to be very heavy in clay.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Neat. They try to keep moving, but in a moment they are surrounded by cows of the woods.
Cows of the woods!
That's what I'm calling them anyway. They're a bunch of fucking people in the woods. Now, from here on out, any bunch of dudes in the woods, I'm just going to call them cows. Cut to Fred's house.
Yeah. Fred lures Angel back into the cave, and it works out for her because he sees his reflection and turns back, but I don't necessarily think that that's what she had planned for him.
Yeah, I don't know what she had planned for him. Other than
she backs to a wall, no way out, and there doesn't seem to be like any sort of idea of what to do here.
Well, I think she knows that he won't hurt her because he would have. And so she's just kind of taking care of him at this point.
Yeah, that could be the kind of assumption she's making. Because he said that he wouldn't hurt her.
And he, like, snorfled her face and then fucked off.
Snorfled her face.
That's the best word I can think of for it. So he has a bit of an existential crisis.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, more than usual. And
the rest of the episode, he's out the rest of the episode.
Yeah, so he goes into the fetal position after changing back into a human and shivers like a damn maroon.
Shivers like a maroon?
What a maroon.
Oh, okay.
A moron, I guess.
Okay.
But Bugs Bunny would pronounce it maroon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Or, like somebody who's having an existential crisis. Better? You happy?
Yes.
That's good. So Fred goes to wipe her bloody hand off on his well-barbered and styled hair, but thinks better of it.
Yeah.
After all, it's very good hair.
Yes.
No, it looked like she was about to comfort him.
Yeah, and then realized, like, that's gross. I should wash that.
I don't think it was so much because of the blood that she didn't do it, but it had to be a small factor. I think it was more,
Right.
I think it was supposed to be more of a, I'm just going to let him get the shakes out first.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't touch him right now. He's having a thing.
And,
it's kind of like,
there's a lot of people that, like, when they're in that kind of headspace, they probably might not want physical contact.
Yeah, he's in some kind of shock. Or, you know, if somebody's having a seizure, don't put anything in their mouth. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a big misnomer. People cannot swallow their tongue when they're having a seizure. They might bite their tongue on accident, but
that would
they
suck.
can't swallow their tongue. You don't need to put anything in their mouth.
But, yeah, if they're having a seizure, you can't stop them from biting their tongue.
Yeah.
By the time you realize they're having a seizure, their jaw has already clenched.
Yeah. And all you can do is just clear the space, let them get through it.
Yeah. You're not going to get a wallet in there to help save their teeth. I heard somebody once recommend to pry their mouth open with a spoon to stick a wallet in there.
What?
And I was like, how the fuck does that work?
That's how you bust some fucking teeth?
Yeah, that's how you get a mouthful of broken teeth right there.
Oh my God.
So just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I'm with Wolfram and Hart.
Everybody should have a lawyer like this.
Mr. Winters shall never be convicted of any crime. Ever. Should you continue to harass our client, we'll be forced to bring him into the light of day.
I want that stricken from the record.
A place I'm told that's not all that healthy for you.
So cut back to the castle throne room.
Yeah, where the princess is actually here, not in another castle.
Cordelia goes into self-pity reality check mode. Starts a bit of teeth gnashing about being an actress, which roughly translates to concubine in Pylea language.
Yeah.
And then he gives her a much-needed pep talk confidence boost.
He's very charming.
He is. He's legitimately a super nice guy. He's like, you can be a princess if you want to because you are one. You're princess stock if you declare it. I mean, look at her. Just look at her. Is his tone.
Yeah.
And he mentions how nice she was to her subject, hard air quotes as he puts it, referring to Lauren. She's like, oh, well, he was my friend. And he's like, well, if you're that nice to everyone, you could do some real good around here. And the guy's like just a super good dude.
I really wonder if this is like him genuinely being like this or he's like playing up to the role.
Well, yeah, we're going to get to that. I think playing up to the role is part of it.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't be able to play up to that role, especially not even knowing the word actress.
Right.
I don't know.
I like to think that maybe he is just actually a good dude.
I think a more accurate term that would help them understand what an actor is would be calling herself a liar. Because maybe he is just faking it and he just thinks of it as lying instead of playing a role.
Yeah.
Because if they don't have music, they probably don't have theater.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, so Cordy's like, oh, I can't stay here. I can't do this. It wouldn't be real. I'm like, sure it is. Within the confines of the script and your fictional character, this is completely real. Either way, you know what? Who gives a shit? Get you some.
Right?
When in Rome, fuck the Romans. That's how the saying goes, right?
Sure.
Especially the ones who are really gunning for it. Give the people what they want.
I mean,
let them eat cake.
That was more than likely one of the early uses of olive oil.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you're right.
Yeah.
And probably coconut oil. But they probably didn't have coconut oil there.
They didn't have coconut oil, but in the Roman Greece times, they had olive oil.
They were greasing it with olives. I know it. I know it. So the priests.
Yeah, they are happy.
They don't like cows making proclamations, let alone female cows. Time to send a message. Cut to the woods cows, who also would like to send a message. Guess who knows?
And everyone's want to be just sending everyone messages. Maybe you should all just have a face-to-face, sit down with a cup of tea, and have just a pleasant conversation.
Yeah. Can you invent texting yet, people? Skip right over the pleasant conversations and get to the portable electronic devices already. Cut out the middleman.
So, yeah, what'd you call them? The wood cows?
Woods cows. Or wood cows.
Forest
whatever.
cows.
Forest cows, yeah.
The forest cows have Wesley and Gunn tied up. They don't believe Wes and Gunn are good guys because they came from the palace, and they try to explain, Wes tries to explain that they actually know the princess.
And he proves it with a picture, which is technology that they are not familiar with at all.
Yeah.
Depending on where these people came from, which doesn't seem like Earth to me.
No, I don't think they did. They seem like Pylea stock.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is this does not work out well for Wesley.
Yeah, really the only thing Wesley's accomplishing here is getting their heads on pikes.
I think Wesley kind of makes his mistake here, though, is thinking that they're humans. Because while they are biologically speaking humans, they are not culturally speaking humans.
Sure.
They are humans who were raised in and around the Pylea culture. So they are just as fucking brutal as the Pyleans.
Yeah, this is kind of making me think that this is a parallel dimension in an Earth where things veered so drastically differently on the evolutionary timeline that this is just where humans ended up.
Well, there was a lot of talk in a lot of the earlier episodes of Buffy that expressed that at one point in time demons walked the earth. So my thought is just Pylea is a parallel Earth that didn't stop being the case.
Yeah.
And Pylea is what our world was like back when demons walked the earth.
Yeah, and maybe something happened that, you still got to explain away the two suns. There could have been some cosmic event
who
that
knows?
caused them to have two suns.
Yeah.
As well, which would explain also why they have a very different evolutionary timeline.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only difference between them nearly getting their heads on pikes before and after Wes started talking is now they're going to have their heads on pikes with a list of demands shoved into their mouth.
Yeah. Progress,
Yeah.
It's a little progress.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
So, but it's okay. Meanwhile, they rest comfortably back to back with a stake to support their backs and rope to unburden their weary arms.
Yeah.
I don't see what they're complaining about. Cut back to Fred's cave.
Actually, to be fair, it would be, in my personal view, more comfortable to be tied to a stake sitting on the ground than just sitting on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Like
you'd have some back support.
Having some back support. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and having another person's back as well.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of body heat.
Yeah.
You'd live through the night that way, at least. Cut back to Fred's cave.
Yeah.
Where Angel finally speaks. He's still in the fetal position, though. Yeah. And he realizes that Wesley and Gunn saw him that way, and he can't ever go back because they saw what he really is. He truly is.
He's pretty traumatized, it seems.
My first instinct is that's not what you truly are. That's just what you're possessed with.
Right.
Whatever.
But Fred is caring for him as the best she can, and even offers for him to just stay there with her.
She's kind of pretty okay with that. We know she thinks he's hot.
Yeah.
She's like, well, that's okay. You can just stay here with me in my cave. My cave of wonders. Hell, I'd go live with a weird hot cave girl in a heartbeat. Meanwhile, Cordy's working on freeing up the slaves and outlawing polyester. You know, tackling the big issues.
Just in case anyone happens to accidentally invent polyester, she's killing it before it starts.
Can't be having that. Somebody's got to invent plastic first, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. Silas or Silas, whatever. Silas brings in a silver platter, covered, of course. Got to keep in that body heat. I mean, just plain old regular heat.
Yeah.
He commands the Grusalog to get the fuck out.
And he does.
It's a little chatty chat with his cow, with his princess cow.
Yeah, he just kind of lays out the reality of the situation of like, hey, look, you're not really a princess. You don't have any power.
You're a tool of the Covenant, just like the Grusalog.
Yeah.
He is the Grusalog because we say he is the Grusalog. If we tell you to mate, you say, hee-haw, ride me like a pony. And if we say silence, you shut your fucking cow hole. Okay? He's very harsh.
Yeah.
And Cordy's like, I beg your pardon. And Silas is like, don't you think you've done enough pardoning today?
Mine is an evil laugh.
Evil pun. As he lifts up the lid of the serving platter to reveal none other than everybody's favorite host.
Yeah.
Lorne.
Well, just, the head part of Lorne.
It's Lorne. Everybody loves Lorne.
Yeah, but just the head part.
It's just his head. That's the best part.
I mean, kinda.
He's dead. Yay.
I mean, we know he's not, but...
You shut your mouth hole. Shut your cow hole.
You were waiting all episode to say that, weren't you?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, good job.
All right. Gur arg.
Gur fucking arg.
Is this for me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Nights I shall walk in the earth. Hold on. You've got something here.
How'd you feel about this episode, Rex?
It was all right. I liked Fred.
Fred, actually got to do something other than talk to Cordelia through a hole.
I think this episode was better than last episode. It's still a tropey-ass premise that annoys me. And I'm annoyed as hell that, Cordy is written piss poor in this episode. She is not this dumb.
Right.
She is smart enough to look at the culture around her and go, I probably don't want to be royalty in this world.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why do you want to, you don't want to stay just because they're calling you a princess?
Yeah. And oh, look, they got a hot guy for you to bang, but she's not that shallow.
And then they finally start writing her character a little less shallow, and she starts coming to reality. At least she's, I don't know, exactly what you were saying. But no, I did think this was much better than last episode. It was more engaging, at least.
Yes, definitely more engaging.
It didn't feel so fucking slapstick, even though there were a couple of very slapstick moments. Mainly just the dancing and the singing. And
I don't mind the slapstick when there's a couple of bits in it. A couple of slapstick bits, I'm fine with.
Absolutely.
But when
it's one of the best things about Buffy.
But when the whole episode feels like it should be playing yakety sax in the background, that's not what I'm fucking here for.
Right.
And the last episode really felt like that, and this one was better. I'm hoping that the next one's even better than this, because like it's all right, and it should be better than all right.
I think it would have been better if they had not made it a two-parter. I think that's how it suffered.
Yeah.
They could have cut out a lot of fat and stupid shit and just made last episode and this episode one fucking episode.
Yeah,
and it would have been more engaging.
There was a lot of back and forth in this episode that annoyed me. They played up a little too much of Cordy and Wes like bickering about like whether or not she's gonna stay, and it's like it was too much super fucking airheaded Cordy that she's grown so much more past that, and it annoyed me. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I probably would have actually kind of liked this episode a little bit if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, on the grand scheme of things, I don't feel like we're really making any progress other than we're slowly introducing Fred, and the rest of them are just, I guess, Lauren's making some progress. He's getting over some of his home issues, his mommy issues, and then he's going to go back home and he's going to be a more whole person.
Right.
And Angel, I guess, is getting a little bit of... He's having to face his full demon self, which is something he's never had to do before.
I'm hoping that they conclude with this bit in the next episode, because they really kind of showed us the dichotomy between him being like, oh, I can see myself in the mirror and look at the sunlight, and he's downright fucking joyous, versus what he is on Earth, all fucking broody and down. And the just sheer contrast of that to the monstrous part. And I'm really, really hoping that when they wrap that thread up, they don't do it half-assed. Because this whole season, Angel has really struggled with how he fits in with the world, being partially a monster. And I think if they can somehow fucking manage to wrap that up with this bit, that actually might make the season for me. But I do not have particularly high hopes.
Yeah, that could be some stellar character growth. We'll see what happens. It's slow going, though.
Yeah,
like, you really gotta dig in and give it a lot of... give it a wide berth to really get much out of the last couple episodes. So yeah, there's that. Meh. I give it a solid meh. Shut your cow hole. What's your quote of the day, Rex?
I'm going to give my quote of the day to Fred, actually, which is going to be her response to Angel telling her that Cordy is a princess. The tone of her response and the cadence of her response, so perfect. Really? Oh, when I got here, they didn't do that.
Yeah, that was going to be mine.
There's a lot of heartbreak in it.
There absolutely is. It was well delivered. That was going to be my choice too, but now I'm going to have to go instead with the whole exchange, but mainly Gunn. When Cordy says, "What does that mean?" Wesley says, "I have no idea." Gunn says, "Sounds dirty if you ask me." Nobody did.
Especially though, because in the very next scene, once they find out what's going on, he turns to her and says, "Told you it sounded dirty."
Told you it sounded dirty. Yeah, maybe he should be the linguistics expert.
Right?
The cunnilinguistics expert. Huh? Yeah? That's where the joke was. If I do say so myself. And I did.
You did, in fact.
Thank you for noticing.
All right, this episode's done. Let's do the dance of joy. You're not... that's... I mean, kinda. You're really off rhythm. God, I wish you guys could see this. He's
Fuck you. You do the dance of joy.
No, I'll do worse.
Oh my God, close this episode already, please.
It's your closing.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
It's because you stole mine last time.
Well, this has been an episode of Ale with Angel, everybody. Oh, and this is your daily warning, everybody, so that it is not a huge surprise. You have exactly 3 episodes left, including this one, before we go on one of our world-famous sabbaticals. But this time we're not going to do the shitty kind where we just kind of, at the last minute, like, hey, thanks, bye, and then keep taking your money for 2 or 3 months. We are going to pause payments on all Patreon supporters.
Yes.
And we're going to tell you when we're coming back, approximately 2 to 3 months from the end of season 5 of Buffy and season 2 of Angel.
And also, don't forget, we are going to be doing shortly into the break a live Q&A. We're still working out the details on that, and we will have those details before we go on break, but keep a lookout for that.
Correct. Tentatively, logistics are looking like a Zoom call for Patreon supporters. They get to directly participate. Video optional, audio kind of necessary if you're going to participate. And then the public can view the stream as it's happening.
Yep.
So there it is. Don't forget to review us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Check us out at beerwithbuffy.com. You can buy our shit at beerwithbuffy.com/shop. If you'd like to support us financially, head on over to patreon.com/beerwithbuffy. We have a cat naming perk. Yeah. Can't find that anywhere else, can you? If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at beerwithbuffy@gmail.com. You can also leave us a voicemail at 269-743-0783. You can also text to that number. We will probably respond eventually. Big shout out, as always, to JJ Treadway for all our opening, closing, and transitional music. This has been Ale with Angel. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex. Have a good night.
Now shut your cow holes! Back!
You are the slayer. Lives depend upon you. I make allowances for your years, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
You don't like the color?
You have a sacred birthright. You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Why can't you people just leave me alone?
You are the slayer.
Go ahead.
I'm a watcher. I haven't the skill.
Oh, come on.
By appealing to your common sense. Werewolves, incubi, succubi, everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed, but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day.
One gal in all the world.
Common sense.
One gal in all the world.
It was a bit, British, wasn't it?
Wait, what have we done? Why are we watching this?